Guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my December wrap-up. In December, I read 10 books. 2 were ebook and then the rest were physical. So the first one I'm going to be talking about is G.I. Brides. I mentioned it in my November wrap-up or my December TBR. I started reading it at the end of November and I finished it on December 1st. But G.I. Brides, it's a nonfiction. It follows 4 British women who fell in love with American soldiers during World War II, and I think one of them ended up pregnant and got married, and the other 3 got married after the war. And it talks about how these women were, some worked as like a shoulder to lean on, or a sympathetic ear, and just listen to the men talk. And some of these men were straight up liars to try to get to these women's hearts, and these women were straight up fools and just wanted love and believed in these men. Like, why would a man who has a mansion brag about it and be fighting in a war because his daddy told him to? But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought the women were foolish and dumb most of the time, and yeah, one of the women I felt sorry for. She ended up getting polio, and her husband's relationship, the husband that she married, he was Italian, and when he came and picked her up after her traveling to California, he looked like a gangster. He had the pinstripe suit. He was different from his army uniform and his gangster uniform. He wasn't a gangster, but he was from an Italian family. But yeah, I enjoyed it. And if you enjoy nonfiction set in World War II about romance, then read it. It's good. The second book I read in the month of December was Last Star Burning by Caitlin Sangster. It is a fantasy apocalyptic dystopian. Not apocalyptic, but definitely dystopian. It's about a girl who was branded as a traitor because of her mom. Her mom was a scientist and found this cure for the sleeping sickness that'll put you in a coma, and then you wake up and have to take the certain medicine to keep from going crazy. And yeah, they're branded with stars. 4 stars is a traitor, 3 stars is a laborer, 2 stars is soldier, and 1 star is a high up in government type deal. Had the sleeping sickness, and her mom gave it to her. Well, she thinks her mom gave it to her, and she's all looked down upon. She's hated, and yeah, she's in a re-education program with her best friend's family, the general of the army, and she gets smuggled out, and she is walking with this boy named Hal, who is seen as the chairman's son. I enjoyed this. I got to read this from, well, I was given the second book. I was given the E-Arc for Shattered Suns, the second book in the Last Star Burning, and I'm not going to tell you what that's about because that's a big, huge spoiler, and I gave my thoughts on how I think the ending should have happened in my December TBR, or my November. No, I forget what I gave it in the video, but I think it was my December TBR where I already read it, and yeah, I think it should have been way different. I'm waiting on the third one, which has not even been announced. It's still untitled. It's not written yet because Shattered Suns came out December 4th. But yeah, I liked this one better than the second book, which usually happens. So my expectations for the third one are not as high, but they're not low. But if it goes down the same route as I think it's going to go from the cliffhanger in the second book, then I might not enjoy it. But yeah, we'll see. Shattered Suns was number 3. The fourth one is Willow Bloom and the Dreamkeepers by E.V. Farrell. It's a middle grade about a girl who comes into powers as a dreamkeeper. She spotted in the woods one day and comes into her powers, and she gets sanctioned or pulled in to her ability early because there's a monster trying to stop dreams. Dreamkeeper is where you go to a different universe and help keep people's dreams, like lifelong dreams, alive. Help build doorways and pathways, and she keeps them going, started, and it wasn't anything special. I give it a 3 out of 5. It was a little juvenile for middle grade. I think the character jumped in it too quick. She was too enthusiastic about it, and when she did seem scared, it went like that. It didn't last long. She didn't question, which I would have liked, but yeah. That's all I gotta say about that book. I mean, if you want to read my blog tour post, I'll link it down below. I'll link my Shattered Suns blog tour down below as well. The fifth book I read in December, I've already talked about it in my book haul, was Deathfall by Stephen Wallerfels. It follows these two teenage twin boys from when they were living in with their alcoholic, druggy father to when they're taken care of by a foster family. The foster family is a big time sheriff, or not sheriff, but he's a well-known and well-loved person in the community who ends up getting taken down. And it's got past and present chapters, and it all spans within a year and a half, 2 years. And I really enjoyed it. It was thrilling, edge of my seat, and it was a constant page turner. Yeah, there is some fat shaming. There is some drug abuse and sexual assault, sexual abuse. So those trigger warnings, be on the lookout for. But I highly enjoyed it. I'm going to have to read the first book that he wrote called Bad Call. So I got it right this time. And there's the author in the first book. If y'all can't see that, this was also a blog tour spot, so I will link this down below. Another blog tour spot that I did in December was for Love a la Mode by Stephanie Kate Strom. This is about two teenagers, a boy and a girl, who is on their way to Paris to study at this culinary school run by this famous chef. And yeah, it's a boy and a girl. The girl loves baking, the guy likes cooking, and it's about their time at the school, and they make friends, and it's a little cute, fluffy romance, how the boy gets jealous of another guy student hitting on the girl, and the girl being all shy, and it's just so cute. It's perfect for a little Christmas romance, or very Valentine's Day-esque, because it's Paris. But it takes place around Thanksgiving. Which is funny because this is when this book was released, around Thanksgiving. I highly enjoyed it. I'm going to have to read more by this author. And yeah, it's just so cute and fluffy and mushy and corny and just all the things. So yeah, read it and It's so pretty and blue. This is one of my favorite colors. Number 7 is Stronger, Faster, and More Beautiful. This is 5 different stories, all connected. It's set in the way future. You know how people are getting cosmetic and plastic surgery, and people take steroids to get faster. People get surgery to be more beautiful. Well, this is stronger. Metal limbs and animal DNA. Faster, again, animal DNA. Certain types of animals confusing with human DNA. And more beautiful. Changing your facial appearance and mechanical body parts, robotic body parts. This connects 5 different people around the globe, and they all have one guy in common, and it's a reverend who was against all of the modifications, genetic modifications to begin with. And then the family gets into a car accident, and the wife of the reverend dies. And so the reverend takes it upon himself to give some of her body parts and replaces his body parts with her body parts, along with his daughter. And it just causes a frenzy, and it gets more crazy. It takes place in outer space as well, and it takes place in California, Russia. It's just amazing. I loved it. Some of the stories I didn't really like, but the one I really liked was the 2 guys. They, one was California. He was very prominent. He was the son of a Hollywood movie star. He ends up getting cancer, and he goes and gets frozen. Highly enjoyed. 4 out of 5, I think. My star ratings will be down below. But this was another Blog Tour spot. Highly enjoyed it. It came out last month. It's in stores now, so go read it, and then we can talk about it. Oh, and it's got some religious aspects, which I didn't really enjoy. But that's the thing. If you read about science, you always get a religious aspect. And if you read about religion, you most of the time get science. Religion and science are always butting heads. Like, religion, God made everything. No, science made everything. Science is possible, and you gotta read the science. You gotta know the science behind it. It's a handful. It's a mouthful. It's a headache. The 8th book I read was Slayer by Kiersten White. This is Sammy's Lit Pick review copy. It's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer retelling, and it's getting mixed reviews. And some people are saying that it's not paying homage to Buffy, and that it went away from the Buffyverse, but I really enjoyed it. It's not very vampire, more demon, but yeah. It's about twins, Nina and Artemis. One of the twins is seen as stronger and faster and more capable, and then the other twin is just seen as a outcast, not really anything. Her mother's wanting to save her to keep a prophecy from becoming true, and yeah, I'm not going to spoil it because it comes out this month. This is an art copy, but yeah, if you're a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, then I would read this. I watched it growing up, and I was a fan, and I really enjoyed this. I liked Kiersten White's writing. This was my first Kiersten White book that I read, and it had me flipping. It was a constant page turner for me. So, yes. Give this a 4 out of 5. The next book is Grump by Liesl Shurtleff. We read this for school, and I didn't really enjoy it. If you watched my worst books of 2016, then you know that I didn't really like this book. It's not bad, but I didn't really like it because I'm not a fairy tale person, and yeah, I'm not a fairy tale princess person. I like some fairy tales, but yeah, I liked some parts of it. Some parts had me really into it, like Witch Dwarf Hi.
Hi.
It's this one's book.
I got it from my aquarium. Right, Mama?
Yeah. Oh, they can see you back there, so stay right there. And
Hi.
yeah, she got it from her owl crate. And when it was talking, when all the dwarfs made it onto the surface, and they started giving traits of the 7 dwarfs in the movie and in the story, then I got a little piece of paper and I started writing down the dwarfs' names along with who could be who, and yeah.
Sammy's page.
Yep, in Sammy's notebook. But yeah, didn't really like it, but
Mama, get done with it.
say bye.
Bye. See you soon.
The last book I read for December was Two Can Keep a Secret by Karen M. McManus. This is a newly released book that came out in January. And I got this from Rockstar Book Tours for a blog tour spot. And yeah, the cover looks the same as One of Us is Lying. I have not read One of Us is Lying yet. I'm going to be reading it this month. And Buzzword Readathon. La la. You could have announced it a little earlier so I could pick out more books with the word lying or lie, but I can read One of Us is Lying during that week. But anyways, it's a completely different storyline from One of Us is Lying, and this is a prom night meets Mean Girls, and if those two put together had a baby, this would be it. It's about a murder. It's about this town who loses a girl every blue moon. One disappeared, one was murdered in the town local attraction called Murderland. My blog tour spot is up. It was up on the 1st, so I will link it down below. And I gave this a 4 out of 5, I think. I don't remember what I give these books. Oh, star ratings? What are they? That's it for my December 2018 wrap up. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. I was going to do a all the books I read in 2018 video, but that is just too long and it's too late because you're not seeing them much anymore on YouTube. And I feel that if I put one up now, it wouldn't be viewed. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I know I was kind of scatterbrained and
Give it thumbs up.
okay, go sit. Leave a comment down below. Have you read any of these books? Are you looking forward to any of these books? And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.